What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid, coming at you with another Destiny video. Today we're doing another episode of Cool or Crap, where I take a look at a gun, I play around with it, I show you a bunch of clips of me using it, and then we determine if it is cool or if it in fact it is crap. So if you enjoy this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Our first episode of Cool or Crap featured the gunsmith weapon, the Legendary-D. We determined that it was indeed cool, and now we're looking at its little brother, or big brother, or mother's brother's, stepfather's, cousin's, uncle's, father's roommate, the Arminius-D. The Arminius-D. Now, you know I've been carrying around 3 Arminius-D packages, and finally I got to turn one in to grab this gun, and I'm excited to go ahead and try it out, just to see what I actually think of it. I got it from Banshee this past week. He was selling one that finally had counterbalance. Something else I want to do in this video is that YouTube allows me to put up polls on the video, so aside from just leaving your comments below if you think the weapon is cool or crap, you can go ahead and vote on it in an official poll on top of the video. I believe you just click on this card here and then vote cool, or you vote crap and you see how it goes. So the Arminius-D, it's a bullet hose type weapon. Everybody compares it to the Doctrine. Everybody compares it to the Doctrine because it's got the same rate of fire, the same extremely low impact. I was fortunate that Banshee's version here happened to have braced frame, and it also has counterbalance. Counterbalance is the thing that makes this gun. Counterbalance is what makes any auto rifle that is that super fast rate of firing gun extremely deadly, because it takes away all horizontal recoil. It takes away all horizontal recoil, and I don't think you can understand exactly how that feels or how that impacts the gun until you actually fire it. And it actually has taken me a little bit of a getting used to, because I have never had, until I got my first Legendary-D that had counterbalance, I've never really fired off a weapon that had counterbalance. And it is a significant learning curve if you're always used to moving around your reticle to correct for the horizontal recoil. So with this case, I just have to get my gun somewhere on the enemy, and it's just going to bounce up and down. It actually leads to a lot more headshots than I would typically get, because the weapon just bounces up and down and kind of gravitates towards the head. So free critical hits, free critical hit damage, that sounds pretty good already. But this counterbalance also kind of gives me an indirect boost to range. How does it do that? Well, by taking away all the horizontal recoil, I'm only shooting my bullets vertically up and down wherever I aim my cursor. And what that does is it lets me shoot at targets that are further away and actually hit them. Instead of spraying my bullets around in a big circle around the enemy wherever my cursor is, I'm only going up and down. So it is much, much easier to hit enemies at a range whenever you have counterbalance on, because you're just aiming up and down vertically. That's it. And I was actually having a discussion with this with another streamer, and we were talking about how the Doctrine and this type of weapon is pretty strong, and maybe it might be getting nerfed in tomorrow's update. It might be. And I said, you know what, I don't even think that it's the gun so much, because I do have a Doctrine that has rodeo, and it doesn't do the same type of stuff as this Arminius does with counterbalance. Counterbalance is what lets you basically hit enemies from further away, hit a lot more of your bullets on them, and kind of take down enemies from a further range than maybe auto rifles are actually supposed to do. So that's just something to keep in mind, and I wonder if Bungie is recognizing or thinking the same thing. And let's talk about the Doctrine. This thing isn't the Doctrine. It's not the Doctrine. It does have more bullets. With brace frame, I do have more bullets. You can see that I actually have 60 bullets in my magazine, taken down from 72 that I could get maximum. But this is not the Doctrine. Even with counterbalance and brace frame, that first perk that I have, crowd control, I think that's really nice in PvE. But in PvP, you don't use it a ton. At least not as much. It's not maybe as effective as persistence. I think if I had persistence on this gun, just like the Doctrine, it would be a nice little clone of the Doctrine, and persistence I think would make this gun even more deadly, because my gun bullets would start focusing in like a laser beam on the enemy, and that would be absolutely amazing. So if I'm looking for a perfect god roll type of one, I think it might have persistence on it. I had to leave that in there. I thought that was so funny, that I was able to take the guy down with my Arminius-D only to get killed by a sniper rifle. So basically I'm shooting from an extremely far range where sniper rifles are effective, and here I am using an auto rifle to take down an enemy. That definitely is probably a reason that people get very, very upset with this type of gun. And I know I was just talking about persistence, but let's not discount crowd control. crowd control is definitely a very good perk on weapons. So the fact that I have it here means that I basically have no real wasted perks. I'm going to be able to get use out of everything. I might not use crowd control a ton, but it's going to be here and actually getting some use. It's not wasted. It's not just a completely junk perk. So everything on this auto rifle is good. It's very good. So this particular kit, this gun card kit, is pretty good for the Arminius-D. It's a pretty solid one. I still have 2 packages though, because I'm going to wait and see what Banshee brings in the future. I didn't want to just turn them all in this time, and then have Banshee turn in something that was even more amazing. Though right now, you're basically getting pretty top tier with the perks that this gun has. There's not a lot that you can or would want to change. Like I said, it's mainly looking at getting rid of the crowd control. Though I do think that crowd control is going to give you potential in both PvE and PvP. So this is a pretty strong roll on the gun for sure. And I've been definitely pleased with my use. If you look at the gun stats though, again, that range is really, really low on the gun. And range kind of encompasses a number of things on guns in Destiny. A number of things, so I always like to bump up the range if I can. So that would be one thing to potentially look for in future versions of this gun, or if you're searching for the gun yourself. I would definitely, strongly, and highly recommend getting Counterbalance though. That's pretty much your go-to perk. Brace frame was really nice, though you probably could get away with small bore as well. I think Counterbalance though, that's pretty much your money perk. That's pretty much your money perk on auto rifles in my opinion. Because they fire so fast, you basically want that auto-correcting your horizontal recoil for you the entire time. And that is really nice. It's basically like having a second hand on the gun almost. So just something to keep in mind, if you're looking for auto rifles, look for ones that have Counterbalance. That's my opinion. Anyway, we're here for one thing and one thing only, and that's to find out if the Arminius-D is cool or crap. And this might be a little bit anticlimactic, but the Arminius-D is cooler than the other side of the pillow. The Arminius-D is amazing. You're going to love it. Pick it up. That range stat looks a little bit low, but it is completely corrected by Counterbalance. You're going to enjoy this type of gun. Pick it up. You will not be disappointed. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your gunsmith, and I'll see you around in Destiny. Arminius, decoding coolness.